Well, it's the new game in the Arkham franchise, and it's not made by Rocksteady. A lot of people had doubts, me personally as well, and while they were a bit justified, Warner Brother Montreal tried to deliver, and I think tried is the best word here. We've got a whole lot of different bosses, and new ones, like Slade, Copperhead, Firefly, even the Electrocutioner, but they're all there just to create hype and make trailers. Not everything is really great about this game, but it's an above average superhero game, and if you want a superhero game this year, this is the one you're gonna have to get. The game is a bit short. The main campaign is a bit shorter than Arkham City's, and I'm afraid that some of it is not really as good. You're gonna be a little bit disappointed, you're gonna be a little bit thrilled, and you're gonna be a little bit wanting for more. Origins is a good story, but it's riddled with pressure. You can see that the developer took a lot of ideas from City and Asylum when making Origins. It's not as much about Batman or Bruce Wayne as it is about providing the player with yet again another Joker story. If you haven't already been with Joker in the past games, well, we're gonna get more from him in this one. The voice actors make a good job, a bit above average, and they really do feel authentic, as in a younger version of these already familiar characters that we've had in the City series, in the City and Asylum games. There's a little bit lacking with the writing, and some of these characters aren't fleshed out, as I've already said. For instance, Copperhead is just pretty much the same thing you've seen in the trailers, with a 2-minute fight, and that's it. Firefly is the exception from the new bosses. He gets a nice story about the bridge and how he wants to get Batman's attention, and he pretty much blows up a part of it, puts bombs and hires minions, and he has a nice development. There's a good story there. Joker, on the other hand, gets the cake. He gets pretty much everything. The game is originally advertised as pretty much Black Mask versus Batman, and he hires these 8 villains, but it's not so much as you find out during the story. You're gonna get again Riddler with his trophy system, and which is now pretty much renamed as a blackmail material. He wants to blackmail people, he wants to spy on people, he wants to show that he's a PC whiz. And you're gonna have to destroy relay towers, enable your Batwing to fly over and drop you off, and you're gonna have to collect this data. You're also going to do interrogations, which again work the same as in City. If you pre-order the game, you're gonna get Slade as a playable character, and you're gonna be disappointed. If you've played Arkham City, Slade is pretty much a reskin for Robin with a few new twists. It's not much, it's not little, it probably isn't that much to differentiate and maybe say that hey, Slade is like totally new, but it's a disappointing fact about this game. This is how the game feels, just pretty much like this. It's like a reskin with a couple of new ideas thrown in. Talking about new ideas, this game has this detective mode
The police know the victim fell from
that
nearby
is used in
buildings,
solving
but there's nothing
crimes.
else in the file. His
Yeah,
identity might shed
it's
some light on things.
it's okay. It's not what it was hyped to be.
Brian Murphy,
It's
an
okay.
account manager at the Gotham Merchants Bank.
You get to
Cause
see
of
how
death,
the action
internal
took place,
injuries
how the
sustained
killing
on
took
impact.
place. You get
Now I
to
know
see a
what
couple of the
happened.
details,
Time to
and you
find
get
out
to
how
follow
and
up on that.
why.
But mostly it's pretty much automatic. Everything is pointed out to you, and you rarely have to go searching for something. There's
This blood
some
spilled
very
quickly
obvious
for high
things.
velocity
That's the
impact.
problem. Everything is very
Undeterred.
obvious in this detective mode. You don't feel that much as a detective, but more of a guy just chasing this little red triangle that points you to the next clue. It would have been better
The railing here is
if
broken.
they'd use some
Was it
sort
an
of
accident or was it
area where you could
rushed?
scan, and you would have to scan certain areas to get more clues, and you could find like fake clues or clues that didn't matter at
Two
all,
sets of
and you could
footprints
just
means the
select
victim wasn't
which
alone.
clues
And the scattered paperwork suggests he had a
were the correct
briefcase.
ones.
I need to
Or
find
maybe, you
that.
know, go in LA Noir chapter where you gather clues and you ask questions and you try to find witnesses. That would have been a bit more interesting and an even better addition. This was a good try for the system, but it wasn't really fleshed out. This game feels a bit rushed. You know, there's a lot of bugs, and the bugs are really, really good. And there's a game-breaking bug in Berlin Tower, where if you try to get in the room after you hack the first device, Batman just gets stuck. And that's a big problem, because it makes you think, you know,
Interesting. There are two
they just
sets of
shipped out this
fingerprints here.
game
One
with
belongs to
this
the victim,
game-breaking bug.
the other to Robert
Luckily, there's
Haynes, the
been
one-man
guys
con
around the internet
artist.
who found
Alfred, I need
a
the
way
last known
around it
location
using
of
a
Robert
pipe
Haynes.
and
I'll send over
pretty much
everything.
just
And if he don't,
abusing the game's
too
physics
bad.
and making
You
Batman
can't
just
shut me up
soar
any
up
more
in
than
the
you
air.
can the billboards. We gotta shut him down to shut him up. Otherwise, we'll
Hmm.
never be free. We're the South.
Bugs happen, you know. We've already seen Skyrim with a ton of bugs, and over the years, patches came, and I'm hoping that Origins will fix its share of bugs with patches. Now, let's talk more about what Origins added to the game, because mostly it's pretty much Arkham City, fresh new paint of codes, some NVIDIA effects that look great, a larger map, and we've got a little bit, just a bit of the Batcave. It's not fully usable, you can't interact with pretty much anything there, it's just for looks, you know, look but don't touch. You've got a training menu which is nice and teaches you about the game and rewards you for playing it. Challenges again feel rewarding because you get experience from them, and that's great. You get to see Alfred, which is nice. His story is okay. You get a little bit of newspaper clippings, and that's really nice. And a fan thing, you know, just showing off a couple of things like from Red Hood and whatnot. They've tried adding a few new items, like the line launcher. Well, pardon me, not the line launcher. It's been replaced. Now you have this little gimmick that shoots from 2 points a bat line, a bat cable, bat something. And well, Batman can walk on it, he can make dogs fly one to another, and well, that's it. It's nothing spectacular, it doesn't change how the game plays, it just gives you, like Predator Boom, a couple of free stealth kills. Ice Grenade has been replaced by a Glue Grenade, and well, you've got these new gauntlets. They're pretty much lifted from the Wii U version of Arkham City, the Armored Edition, and it pretty much allows you to punch through anything, and it just becomes a button masher. Punch, 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 punch. That's all you do. And it's a shame. Because they've added these new mobs, these new enemy types. You've got a mini Bane, who needs to be taken down twice, who has an unblockable attack, You've gotten, well, you refined big guys who now try and grab you, squeeze you, which you have to punch away from, and that's pretty nice. You've got the ninjas, which work a bit differently, and I think that they somehow break the feel of the game. I don't know. It just feels a bit odd when you're fighting them, because they've got multiple attacks and it varies. Sometimes, you know, they just strike you first and you have to double block, and then you have to strike them back, and then you have to block, and so on. It's nice, it's a change of pace. But the problem is sometimes due to glitches, it doesn't really work. I find myself being attacked by ninjas, and after doing parries, nothing happened. The ninja would just stop there and Batman would just look at him. And the bugs, they just kind of ruined this whole experience. I've had a lot of them, and I hear people online have had quite a few. Well, let's leave that aside. Another great thing I like is the bosses. You got a nice fight with Killer Croc, you got a good fight with Firefly, then you've got Bane, and so on. Not all the fights are very fleshed out. Like, you've got the Deathstroke fight, which I like, and it's almost a quick time event. And that's the problem, you know, this game knows that it's sometimes dangerously close to becoming monotonous. Dangerously close to becoming doing more of the same. And sometimes it tries to spice things up, but it doesn't always work. And that's pretty much how you can just generally characterize Arkham Origins. It doesn't always work. It's a good game. It's not great, but it's more of the same, and it's not that much improved. You know, if you compare it to the past games, you're probably not going to like it as much as you've liked the past games. If you think about Arkham Origins as its own game, as its own little thing there, you're gonna see that it has sparks of greatness. It has moments where it truly shines. And the best example of this would be the hotel level, you know, where you gotta face Joker. And it's a nice level, it's well structured, it's greatly paced, it's got action, it's got atmosphere, and it's got a great ending. And it's, to me, the best level in the entire game. Or rather, chapter, if you want to say it. And it's really, really good. And I hoped that this game would have been more like that, but instead it's sometimes bogged down by a loose narrative, bugs, and an overall lack of innovation.
All units getting calls about a disturbance. Stand by for location.
Now, Batman Origins is not a bad game. It's way, way above the batch of crazy, dumbed down superhero games you get. It's just not good enough on its own to merit Game of the Year award like the other two Batman Arkham games. I like this game. I don't like it as much as the Rocksteady ones, but I like it and I respect it. Warner Brothers Montreal had an epic task, and it was just a bit, well, just quite a bit more than they could chew, you know. The multiplayer is, well, as you can tell, just stacked on. I would personally have preferred to see co-op with Batman and Robin, or an origin story with a moment in the game where Batman gets to fight alongside Gordon, and both of them just fight a wave of thugs, of criminals, and it's great. And you could see that if you could just replace Gordon NPC with, say, a Robin player control character over the internet or in split screen on the console, and man, that would have been terrific. This has been great, fly around the city as Batman and Robin, taking down crimes, collecting Riddle trophies, and just having fun. And this game could use a lot more of this fun. There isn't as much content as in City, and it's kind of annoying that they keep comparing this game to City and Asylum. It tries to do its own thing, but the problem is that it builds upon pre-existing engine, materials, and combat. Pretty much most of the game has been already lifted from the City, and well, as I've already said before, the new elements aren't so new. Maybe, with a couple more chances, Warner Bros. Montreal can prove that they got what it takes to push this franchise forward. Right now, they made some nice boss battles, they added in an okay detective crime analysis thing like, well, CSI. They've added fast travel, a larger map, and tried to make an introduction for a couple of the villains. Well, overall, I think this game is a 7.5 out of 10. I'm just giving it a 0.5 simply because the story gives attention to supporting characters like Alfred, they play a bigger role, and Jim Gordon. Again, it's nice, I like it, I liked for me the story peaked with the hotel level, and I would like to see more of that. And again, the engine, it's pretty good, it's there, it's good, but it's not the best. It's not improved, and it's not where it could have been. I'm looking forward for more Batman Arkham Origins DLC. I hope that they're going to prove that lacks of in the story department, the gameplay, the bugs, etc. will be fixed, and that they can push this franchise forward, and that maybe the DLCs will be much better than expected. Maybe they will bring out more characters, more scenarios, and better characterization for the villains. Hopefully, we'll see this and more in the near future. That's all. QuickTime Gamer out.